Honorable Sauls, it's 20 minutes past 7 now. Please be done by 20 minutes to 8. In the event you are not done, the chair will exercise his discretionary 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening once again, Dr. Haas. I'm this side. Good evening.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, yes, I see now. Okay, yeah.
If you don't see me, just follow the teeth.
No, I was vaguely thinking of something else. Sorry, I was, but I mean, sorry. I knew you were there somewhere, and I couldn't remember. But now you mention it, I see you. Yes. Okay.
Dr. Haas, let me start off by being very frank with you.
Please.
The methodology, though your methodology comes with very good intentions, you must understand, for the purposes of the committee, the methodology of stating things that you have obviously researched, heard from certain people, but if you haven't verified them and you put it to us, those are things that we cannot use for our investigation. So what I'm going to seek to do, as I studied what you submitted to us, I'm only going to zoom into things that I think that you can authoritatively answer to based on experience and based on what you state here. Okay? So we're going to do it that way. So let's start off by dealing with your experience. You speak about in the 1980s, you joined PFP. What was so important about what the party stood for during apartheid? PFP.
Do you want me to answer that first?
Yes. What does it stand for?
Okay. I joined the party.
What does the party stand for?
It was providing the only opposition there was to the Nationalist Party, mainly through Helen Suzman, and we could then give her reports on abuses by the police that she would raise in Parliament. That was, I'm not much interested in politics, but it was a strategic thing to do, especially as the regional director of the Progressive Federal Party. Actually was the director. He had come up and he'd reached out to townships and he was working there. So we were able to work together, and he was working with lawyers, and that's how this formed. Basically, it wasn't about the politics. It was about getting some sort of opposition to the Nationalist Party.
And you also exposed the wrongdoings of apartheid police at the time.
Absolutely. We took affidavits about the abuses, and Ainsley was very involved in working with the lawyers who when people, there was a lot of illegal detentions then, for example. We needed lawyers, so he was doing that. So it was a kind of increasing combination of contributions, and the Black Sash were also doing some things too.
And then also you worked closely with the Goldstone Commission. Who set up the commission?
President de Klerk set up the commission, but I know you're going to say apartheid judge, but some of the judges were okay. There were some that were very good.
Dr. Haas, Solda, please do not assume what I'm...
Oh, somebody said it was an apartheid judge.
Just follow my line of questioning.
Okay.
Very good. Right. So... de Klerk did so. You are not very positive about police behavior even during that time. Tell us a little bit about that.
With the time in the early days of the Goldstone Commission, do you mean?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think that's on record. The police were coming and saying, right, and I was kind of quite amiable towards them. They were welcome, and I just these were kind of white security police, put it that way, mainly. But the police, for example, the stability units that were in the townships had a very negative image in people's mind, because they went in and disarmed anything, even a few homemade meth before the killers came. And so there were negative stereotypes about the police. And of course, trust feed happened. And in the trust feed case, the police were shown to be working with the people that went in at the massacre. I mean, that was all. So when I say that, I'm saying that, they didn't necessarily change their behavior. Some tried to show that they had.
You also mentioned something about the complicity with warlords from the police at the time, and you also stood up against that.
Yeah, indeed I did, because this was later. This came out in trials, when this was after the violence carried on for a few years after 94 in specific areas. And for example, if you take these cases that Vilagazi was investigating up in the Mtubatuba area and Mandini area, we had affidavits from people about how the police were abusing them, and they were also getting abused by the police, by the warlords, under threat. But the very concrete evidence came out in a court case up at Mtubatuba, where the evidence was that, and there was a conviction, for the warlords, one had been taken out, I think. Some of them die when things are getting a bit hot. And the evidence was there, though, that the local police, that we had actually, the lawyer for John Wills, the lawyer for the ANC, had lodged a complaint about the local public order policing, because they were also abusing people. And they apparently, according to the evidence at the trial, they'd gone in and shone the lights on the houses that had to be attacked. So this was the sort of reports we were getting then. And there were convictions in these cases I'm talking about.
So would I be correct then in saying that based on your history right from the 1980s, even during apartheid, fighting against wrongs by police, whether it be apartheid police post-apartheid, this drive that you have, it's not something that you just miraculously gained after 1994. You fought this very same thing that you're doing now since the 1980s, in apartheid and after apartheid.
Yes.
Your issue is wherever there is police corruption, wherever there is workings of police that is negatively affecting the poor, you stand up against it.
Yes, I do. I haven't stopped since. That's what's bugging me. I don't really want to do it, I can tell you, but I haven't stopped because people keep asking me.
And this is what you have tabled to us. So I'm taking this from your statements here. So you have experience in that. Which other commission were you part of? That there was one more. Was it Morana or?
Well, it was the Morani. It was my information about hit squad killings up in the north coast in what is now isikaleni. I was often up in isikaleni. But my information about the hitmen who were killing people all over the place was given to the Goldstone Commission, who ensured that a credible team of detectives investigated, and there was a conviction. That was Romeo Mbambo and two others that also named, and that was my information that I passed on, that was followed up by the police, and there were convictions.
All right. So you can then, based on that background, your opinion can be considered authoritative and credible around my next question. You've just proven that. My next question would be, in the formulation of a political task team or a task team, is it important or imperative for it to be headed by a senior detective, and why?
It's always been the case because detectives have to inspect dockets and evaluate the evidence that the people under them have actually accumulated. And if you're not a detective, you can't do that. And the further control is exercised by the prosecutors, who then look at the dockets and say, well, this is good, or you need to go back and get more evidence. I mean, ever since I've worked with the police, this is the way it's been, put it that way. I mean, it makes sense. How can you, if you're not a detective, if you're not experienced detective, you only get to be senior in most cases, although there's a bit of a not quite so simple now, but normally you get to be more senior when you've got experience, and you're in a position to do that because somebody has got to keep checking on the quality of the evidence, even before it goes for the prosecutor.
You raised that element as a concern with the current PKTT. What is your concern around that?
There's no senior people that are, there was supposed to be. As I said to you, the national deputy for detectives was in overall charge. He had to have the reports, but there was a brigadier who was the local provincial person, and that brigadier very soon left. And people say, well, no. And they all say the same thing. No, he couldn't take it anymore because he was getting instructions and he was in charge of investigations. He was the one that did the dockets then, I was told. So, and then it seemed, I have not come across another name that's there all the time. If I would say to someone, well, who's doing the dockets now? Well, there was a captain who came in and there's a colonel. That's, why? Why isn't there a fixed structure?
So who is running the PKTT now? And what is your information on whether or not he qualifies as a senior detective?
Well, I'm told, and this I don't know at this stage, I'm told that some of the people that were in the task team have gone back to their bases that they came from. One might have been a stock theft sergeant somewhere, or, it could have been, not all the people in the task team were detectives. But I'm not sure those that were carrying dockets that are in court, I'm not sure who is now overseeing them. In theory, it should be a senior person in the province.
All right. So
I don't know, though. I can't answer that because I do know that in the case of the police, there isn't one. There's just the prosecutor. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is, like I told you at the beginning, because you don't know, we're not going to accept that as authoritative. You said earlier that the current coordinator of the PKTT, General Kumalo, is not a senior detective.
He's not a detective. He's never been, from what everybody tells me. He's been operational response.
Now, once again, are you saying that based on you are sure, or are you saying that based on what you've heard?
What I've heard is consistent across various reports independently, that he was definitely operational response for most of the time. There's no record anyone has of his having been a detective. And I'm talking now not just people in crime intelligence, but people who were in the police for a long time, who know, like a senior retired person, who had never come across him as a detective.
So your submission is confidently that currently the PKTT is not coordinated by a senior detective?
As far as I know, because I don't know whether or not those members, you see, that's the other foggy thing in all this, because some of those cases are still in court. And the investigating officers were allowed to keep those dockets that are still in court. Now, when they've gone to court, the investigation is over because it's in the hands of the prosecutor. So I don't know whether, I mean, once the investigation gets to a prosecution.
So what we'll do is, we will take your response to be you don't know, but we will keep for the record that we must ask and interrogate the question whether or not the current PKTT coordinator is a senior detective or has detective experience, okay? So we'll take it like that. Let's jump into your Volume 1, Annexure Bundle Volume 1. I want us to go to the letter, page 23 to 26, MDH 5.1. There's a section in section 4. This is a letter you wrote to General Mkhwanazi. So I want us to spend my remaining time on this. So you must be very concise here, Doctor.
This was in 2021. Is that the letter you're referring to?
That's correct.
I think it's the only one that's in here.
Yes. So let's go to paragraph 4. The reason why I'm zooming into that is because, once again, I'm going to test the authority of your evidence, or what you are supplying as backup of your position, because you use the words you can confirm. So if you can confirm, then that means it is something that we can use. So I ignored everything else where I see that you can't really say for sure. So we're just going to zoom into where you specifically state to us you can confirm. So let's go to paragraph 4, number 4.
Sorry, could you just tell me exactly which bundle it's in here? I'm getting myself muddled, as I always do. Which page is it in the? Is it in the?
It's MD, item MDH5,
okay.
1, volume 1 of Annexure Bundle.
Okay.
Annexure Bundle, volume 1. Are you there?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've got it now. The
number 4.
Commission SAPS, 11th of October. Yep.
You wrote this letter to General Mkhwanazi.
Yeah.
Did you get a response?
No.
Let's read 4. Would you please? I will stop you where I would want to question you. So let's read yesterday afternoon from there.
Okay, yes. General Khumalo, yes. Members of General Khumalo's team, seizure of the phones, and I think...
Point number 4, it starts with yesterday afternoon.
Yes.
Sunday, 10th October.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay.
It's your statement.
I received a report.
Yes.
Right. And he'd been arrested at Loop Street. I wasn't able to confirm, after speaking briefly to him, that members of the ministerial task team...
See what you're saying there. You said...
This was...
Yesterday afternoon, Sunday, 10th October, I received a report that Zulu had been arrested and detained at Loop Street. I was subsequently able to confirm, after speaking briefly with him, that members of the ministerial task team had arrested him. Now, you are saying that the PKTT has arrested him, and you are able to confirm that, right?
That's what he told me, and it was I think, from the people he described, and that was when I first heard about National Intervention Unit.
Are you able to confirm, are you sure or not? That
Sure as one can be about it, because, I mean, Tabiso Zulu is very intelligent, and he's been doing his own research on these matters for many years.
You see, Doctor, You must not say as sure as one can be. You must say, I'm sure as one can be that this was the PKTT who has arrested this gentleman, because what you are claiming is that the PKTT, it was basically overreach. So if you are sure, you must say you are sure. I'm just using it because you use the words you can confirm. Okay?
Yeah, I spoke to Kumalo, I think, yeah.
All right. Let's continue. The name of a certain Ramadi was mentioned. Conversation, the arresting officers had seized 2 cell phones in the possession and told him that they were going to download the content of the telephones. These telephones should have been stored securely at Loop Street Station, but a duty officer confirmed that the arresting officers had made an entry that they had removed the phones, but no contact details were available for me to follow up. I did speak to General Komalo about this, and I also sent him messages complaining about it. How did you speak to General Komalo about this?
On the telephone.
So you have telephonic records that you have spoken to him about this?
Yes, yes. I mean, I don't know if I've got the records anymore. It's 4 years ago, but I did speak to him.
Okay. That you can say for sure.
Yes, yes.
I requested that he send his email address so that he could follow up via email, but since you have not received anything back.
No, I never received anything. I think the phones were reported. There was a report, though, to the Inspector General of Intelligence by Tabiso himself.
Okay, so what you are telling us by this statement, because this is the only thing closest to what I can use as something with authority. With this, are you saying that the PKTT has arrested people, taken possession of phones on cases that was not falling within their ambit? Is that what you're saying to us?
In this case, it wasn't, because they'd arrested him. I can't remember what they arrested him for, because he had opened a case of assault, and they claimed they were coming to investigate it. Then they arrested him on another charge, and that's in further correspondence I don't have with me, but it wasn't political that they were dealing with.
All right. Dr. Haas, you also said that earlier you wanted to shed light on the fact that at one political killing, provincial police did a good job with this particular political killing, and then when the PKTT started, they took over and then withdrew the charges of that.
Not immediately.
Talk about that to us.
Okay. What happened is, and if you look, I think I made a copy of quite an interesting media report where clearly is going into figures and things like that. And what had what had happened, he gives the figures for the people that have been taken that were handing dockets. He said so many members and so many had been transferred from their units because we took the dockets, right? So that's how that happened. And then initially, in the first, and I haven't yet pieced together the whole timeline, because initially there was supervision of the task team. There was a brigadier in Gwenya who was there, and he looked at the dockets. This would have been, I think he was still there. I think it would have probably been around 2020. Maybe he was, but I'm not sure. He wasn't there for more than a year or two. And one would need to say, well, but it wasn't the immediate takeover, but it was soon after the takeover that those charges, by 2020, the charges had been withdrawn in those 3 cases that had been handled by provincial people against the politicians. Because in the Magaka case, they did not immediately, they didn't withdraw the charges against any of the hitmen. They didn't give them bail either, but then a new prosecutor came in and he gave them bail, apart from the one that was Ngwengwe, because I think he had another conviction.
But you are saying that the PKTT withdrew those cases?
Yeah. Yeah, they did, because they were in charge then.
Thank you, Chair.
Are you done, Honorable Sauls?
Yes, sir.
We don't want even a minute, a discretionary minute from the chair.
If I would take a minute,
Okay.
then it is something that I would want to say to Dr.
Yeah.
Haas,
You are allowed.
frankly. Dr. Haas, there is a scripture that says, knowledge puffs up. Knowledge puffs up. And oftentimes, I want to share with you honestly, I've never understood that scripture until today. Your vast knowledge and experience, in your wisdom, strike a balance when how you come across to people based on that. I can suspect when I look at the way you speak in your writing, even if you use the words please and I request, but you said to General Mkwanazi, please also either ascertain from General Komalo or request the email or request he emails me directly whether the police who arrested Tabiso Zulu had obtained a warrant. It's like you are speaking to a provincial police commissioner who has people under his command. And when you, from outside, almost speaks as if you are commanding him rather than you are seeking to join hands with him, you come across as puffed up. And mine to you would be very humbly, respectfully, caution against what Scripture tells us. Don't allow your knowledge to puff up. Thank you.
Well, I didn't know I was rude to General Mkwanazi. Sorry.
You must start by saying hallelujah before you respond.
Oh, sorry.
Hallelujah.
Okay, right. Well, thank you. I mean, I appreciate, even if you're, I've dealt with this sort of criticism for 40. Look, it's like déjà vu for me. People were saying this about me in the 80s. So, okay, right. But I do try to be polite when I communicate with the police. But look, they are civil servants. They should be accountable to the public. It's as simple as that. You shouldn't have to beg them to be accountable. That's what they should be doing, and most of them aren't. So, and I also learned years ago, and this sounds bad, I try to be polite when I communicate with them, but sometimes I see that they're just basically bullies. And the only way you deal with bullies is to bully them back. And then they get the message. So, but it depends. I'm not saying I do this universally with police, but you actually have to stand up to them and say, but these are people's rights. Can you just, inform them or help them or whatever they need to do?
But maybe you should consider that's perhaps the reason why you didn't get a response.
Okay.
I'm joking
Thank
about
you.
it, actually.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sauls. Follow up, Honorable Matthias.
Thank you, Chair. Dr. Diaz, in your opinion, was it a sound decision for the Minister of Police to largely disband the political killings task team based on the complaint that you sent and with your evidence that you've just given us that was largely based on media reports because you didn't have access to verifying information. And then, of course, you did mention that you had direct contact. You can't tell us exactly with how many of the people who were, or the cases or dockets that were part of it. Do you think it was sound decision for the minister to make that without even engaging you or even engaging the complaint that you sent? Because you and him both said you did not talk to each other. So we had a minister whose entire statement, okay, not entire, but largely his statement was based on your complaint.
Look,
so was it sound? I think you must just tell us whether you think it was sound, given what you sent to him, Doc. Was it a sound decision for a minister of police to use your complaint without investigating or engaging you to disband the political killings task team?
I wasn't the only one who made a complaint. When I skimmed
But that's
through,
not the question.
I mean, so we can't say he based it solely on.
No, he did. That's what he told us. He gave us your whole complaint.
Oh, did he? Well, I didn't. Yeah,
So,
but I mean,
so I'm
other
asking, do
people
you
had
think it was?
complained.
No, I'm not asking about that.
Yeah.
I'm saying he didn't even call you to ask you anything about that. No one in his office tried to investigate the complaint that you made. Do you think it was sound?
I don't
It
know
wasn't
if
your
anybody
only.
did.
It wasn't. No, but I'm telling. That's what he said. So I'm asking for your opinion. Given your experience in the police, would you expect a minister of police to make a decision largely based on a complaint that you made without even engaging you or investigating what you've reported to him?
I referred to a brief discussion with Advocate Pacoli, who wanted to just verify what I was saying. For all I know, he went and did this. I have no idea, because I didn't speak to him about what happened and how, the minister got to that decision. So I don't know if anybody else did anything about it. But when I read that affidavit briefly of the ministers, it was like he'd been getting reports and wondering if it, including about finances and it could just be the last. It could be. I can't
I'm telling you, but his statement said that, and he gave us your complaint.
Yeah.
And so you were one of. So leave the other complaints aside. I'm asking, was it a sound decision based on your research and your experience in the space for the minister without investigating what you have said to base the disbandment of the PKTT?
Well, it's a difficult question to ask simply because I don't know what else he may have said. Well, my letter was a catalyst, but I can't say that he did that. I mean, I think it was a good decision to disband the team. I think it was overdue.
Yeah, that wasn't the question, but okay.
I mean, as a minister, I'm not really in a position to evaluate it because I've never, ever spoken to him about all the reasons. Maybe he should have called me and asked about it. I don't know. But I've never spoken to him about, well, what else led you to disband it? We've never had that conversation. So how can I make a proper assessment, I think? But I was happy to see the team was disbanded. I would have been quite happy with an inquiry into it even, like we're having now. Yeah.
Honorable Mathis, are you satisfied? You say it was a good decision to disband.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Honorable Nwala.
Thank you very much, Chair. Doc, it looks like your evidence is based largely on one aspect of the PKTT, which is SAPS.
Which is?
SAPS. Are you aware that the PKTT is a multidisciplinary team?
Yeah. Well, yes, but I haven't seen evidence of it. I've seen the intelligence aspect, and that's all I know.
You haven't seen evidence of what?
Oh, of course, the multidisciplinary, the justice is in it too. Yeah. But I've never seen public pronouncements. I've only seen a minister saying that we've got this team, and I know that they've spoken, I think in the Midlanga Commission, about how they're working with justice people, and that came in when one of them arrived. They weren't initially. There were no dedicated prosecutors.
Are you aware that the PKTT comprised SAPS, NPA, Crime Intelligence, State Security, Correctional Services?
Yes, they have different roles. Crime intelligence.
Are you aware that it was comprised by a multidisciplinary team?
According to the announcement, I don't know how it worked in practice, apart from the fact that they did get a dedicated prosecutor when Ngaba moved here. And the point is, intelligence is part and parcel of all investigations. You don't have to be a multidisciplinary team to access information from crime intelligence. It's a separate component.
Okay.
So it's not new to access intelligence for it, but you should at least note your things to different prosecutors.
Lastly, talk. You wrote a letter to the minister that he must instruct the National Commissioner to dissolve the PKTT. Two big issues. Is it a concession that the person who bears power to dissolve the task team was the National Commissioner, not the minister?
No. The National Commissioner did not set up a task team. It was set up
you say
at
in your letter,
ministerial level.
Did you not say in your letter the minister must instruct the National Commissioner to immediately dissolve the task team?
Yes.
Isn't that a confession or a concession that the person who's supposed to dissolve is the National Commissioner?
Yes.
If you're saying, so we are saying the National Commissioner was supposed to dissolve.
But he had
not
to have
the
ministerial approval.
Beg your pardon?
He had to have ministerial approval. It was set up.
It's fine. It's fine.
So, and look, the role of a minister.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, may you take a deep breath, all of you.
Okay, over
Yeah.
this.
Don't breathe heavily on each other's neck. You can imagine a younger South African and a senior citizen in a comrades marathon trying to run the race at the same pace. It's not possible. There must be different categories of entries. No? Yeah. Let's continue. Honorable Ngola.
Thanks, Chair. I'm saying, is it your concession that the person who was supposed to dissolve the political killing task team is the National Commissioner, not the minister? Because you wrote a letter to the minister and said he must instruct the National Commissioner to dissolve.
This minister was not acting in the same operational manner as the former minister. And I know that because I've been told, for example, by another very good detective.
Doctor, let's go straight to the...
All right. Okay.
Do you concede that the police commissioner was the relevant person to dissolve the PKTT?
If he was instructed by the national minister to do it. The national minister works through the national commissioner.
So you are saying that the minister makes a policy pronouncement and the commissioner implements that policy?
Yes.
So your interpretation is that the decision is like a policy pronouncement?
Yes, it is. We don't need this anymore. I mean, he's entitled to do that, I think, especially if it's costing a fortune.
When you say we don't need this anymore, who else do you include in that way?
Well, no. It's sorry. That was just a throwaway comment. I'm just guessing on. He came to the conclusion because I see that he is looking at finances as well.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm taking the Chief Whip, Honorable Nomvano, and Honorable Skosana. We will come to you, Honorable James.
No, thanks, Chair. No, I wanted to do a follow-up on 2 issues, or maybe 3 issues. The first one, Dr. Diaz, it has to do with what Honorable was asking. You wrote a letter to the minister to instruct. Why didn't you just ask the minister to decide? Because why didn't you just ask the minister to dissolve? Why should the minister still go to somebody else? Because by implication, when you recognize, even as you are preparing for your letter, that the minister must confer to somebody else, you are recognizing automatically that that person might have the authority to take a decision otherwise.
The role of a minister, and I think people have lost sight of this because they're used to seeing ministers running around doing things themselves. This minister, even when he was the premier, he worked through his office. He wasn't running around like some of the others that we have. I don't know enough about him, but he was always fairly low-key administrative person in my own knowledge of what I read about him in the paper and my own very, as I said, hardly any interaction with him. But if you look, the ministers of this country should be setting the policy and should be instructing the head of department about, well, this is the new policy. Will you please implement it? And this maybe, so what I am saying is that as minister, that was his way of, that he's supposed to do it. Because when the team was set up, it was the minister who went to General Satole, it was then, and said, we've decided to set this team up, and that it was agreed in principle that Satole would do it. He, through the minister was giving instruction, and Satole did it in the structure that he thought would be best to deal with the political team, but still reporting. So it's exactly the same thing in a sense. Clearly is saying, well, we're setting this team up. And I'm trying to now say to myself, because as I said, I just skimmed through Mkhulu's affidavit because I was more interested in what he could tell me about all the cases they spoke about. But he did seem to be taking into account things like what it was costing, and he probably may have heard that because, as I said, the Deputy National Commissioner tried to, according to a media report, the Deputy National Minister had brought it up with the National Commissioner. So I don't see it I see it as a perfectly rational decision by a minister who's got the power to do it in terms of the Constitution.
Okay,
just operate through the head of department. Okay,
just one last follow-up so that I don't take a lot of time for my colleagues. Now, flowing from what Honorable Matthias was saying, the one sitting next to me, about the sources that the minister relied on to take a decision. Now, let me say to you, because you, judging by your own experience, you are a very seasoned academic. You understand the value of research and the significance of decisions based on research. You don't comment on it now. I would suggest you deal with it together. Now that we have seen you saw the affidavit of the minister, you were quoted extensively there. Would you not conclude, or would it be unreasonable for a South African who has been following these developments, would it be unreasonable for them to come to the conclusion that part of the leading information at the disposal of the minister when he was taking a decision was the extensive submission made by you? And therefore, that submission made by you, as we have been dealing with it in the discussion here, is not necessarily a complete, in a sense that it's a one-sided view without verification on the other side. How do you think South Africans will read and interpret that kind of a situation? Or what is your comment on that with a benefit of hindsight?
Look, it would not be, I can tell you that you can do research and it gets ignored too. I mean, I thought that if I used my research to tell the apartheid government that it was ruining black family life, that might help, and it didn't. So I'm just saying research is one thing, policy is another. Okay. But, I mean, it would not be unreasonable, I suppose, if I'm quoted extensively, and I wasn't even aware of that because I really skimmed it. I was looking for specifics in it. And it would not be unreasonable, I suppose. But, of course, it's also, there's different ways of interpreting this because it depends how critically minded you are, but it could be quite reasonable to say, right, why is he quoting her? You know, who else did he work with? I don't know if he sent his legal advisor off to find more information for all I know. I have no idea. I don't know what happened after I sent that letter. I really don't. I know that I think I did see a quote from those two lawyers in Cape Town who are, I'm sure, raring to give their impression, tell you what happened to them. But I honestly don't know why he would have quoted me so extensively. Look, I mean, I am well known since the 1990s as doing all this stuff on violence. I think I've got a reputation in the province because I'd done all this research, and in the early days, until things started falling apart when all the infighting, you know, with Richmond, the ANC set great store on the information I was giving them. They were coming to me, they wanted it. And as I said, right from the beginning, from Mbeki and Zuma downwards, they were soliciting this information all the time. So perhaps on and they were phoning me during elections and saying there's a problem at the station, at that station, Nadia Mtetwa, for example. You know, they were coming to me. So I don't know if that was what informed his decision that I was the one who would know what was happening. I honestly don't. I can't answer.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Honorable Nombal.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair, once again. My follow-up relates to a response that has been given by Dr. Meriti Haas to a question of Honorable Ngola, who was asking if she's aware of the fact that the PKTT was multidisciplinary by its design. And the response was that you were not sure if practically it was because you never received any report confirming such. Now, somewhere in your statement, and in particular on paragraph 10, page 5, you are saying that many cases were withdrawn by the PKTT. That is what you are saying. Now, do you agree with me that when a docket is in possession, or when the docket is in the hands of the NPA, it's only prosecutors who can withdraw cases?
Yeah.
So when you say here on paragraph 10, page 5, cases were withdrawn by the PKTT, what do you mean?
We'd have to look back then at exactly when they were withdrawn.
No, I can help you. I can help you. Some were withdrawn in 2017. No, 2017. If my memory serves me well.
I think it was more likely.
Some 2018.
In 2018.
Yes, 2018.
And it was a while after the formation it was withdrawn.
For instance, let me help you, Doc. Let me help you. Because we have also highlighted this case here, the Cindy Somakaka case, which was withdrawn in 2018, between 2018 and 2019. And it was withdrawn by prosecutors, not by the police, because it was in court already. It was enrolled in court. Now, what do you mean by this statement when you say the PKTT was withdrawing cases?
Well, why did it happen?
May you please speak through the mic? I can't hear you.
Sorry. Well, I would ask myself a question. Why did it happen then? Because were the cases, was there in effect, I mean, people had been charged. Now, why suddenly wasn't there enough evidence to charge them? I don't know. I mean, we can dig that out quite easily for the Magaka case, I think. But I'm not sure who the prosecutor was at that stage, but initially, you see, again, this would be something, one would look at the prosecutor, but the initial prosecutor was actually quite a good prosecutor. So one would have more faith in his judgment than one would do in the one that came afterwards.
Chair, I'm afraid.
I mean, I can't,
the doctor is not answering my question, and my time is very limited.
Yeah, sorry, but I can't.
She is peripheral, Doc. What do you mean here on paragraph 10, page 5, when you say cases were withdrawn by the PKTT?
Well, they were withdrawn after the PKTT came.
So we must remove the statement.
Yeah.
Withdraw it.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, I'm asking, should we remove it?
Well, it was badly phrased. I did this in a huge hurry, I must tell you. I had to do a lot of work that I didn't have time for, and that's why I'm tired. Right.
Yeah,
I didn't have much time to do all this, and in places I agree the wording is not quite right. They were withdrawn after the PKTT took over, and not immediately after.
Doc, I think you are giving a topsy-turvy response. You are not responding directly to my question and precisely.
Well, yeah.
The question is, what do you mean by this statement when you say cases were withdrawn by the PKTT?
They did not, that was what was, the PKTT came in, the cases were withdrawn after they took the dockets.
By who?
Well, they would be withdrawn by the prosecutor, but the prosecutor was working on what evidence he had from the investigators. So for all I know, the investigators came in with evidence that contradicted the arrest. I don't know, but it happened after the PKTT.
You wrote something that you are not sure about. When you say you don't know.
Honorable,
it happened, but I don't know the processes that led to it.
The witness has conceded to that point.
So we must remove it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you very much.
Well, they were withdrawn after the task team took over investigations.
Yeah.
And that can be open. It can be their fault, it can be the prosecutors.
The point, Doctor, is that the PKTT, by law and practice, does not have the authority to do what you say they did.
No.
So you agree with what Honorable Novalo is saying?
No. I agree in the sense that I don't know how the decision was taken, but it was after the PKTT took over, because they were working with the prosecutors.
The bottom of it is that it is not the decision of the PKTT.
No,
and that is why you say you also do not know how the decision was arrived at. Thank you. Yeah. Honorable Skosan, you are the last, and then we go to Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make a follow-up question. I think Honorable Matthijs, when he started, she started by asking the academic credentials of Mary Haas. Am I right?
The academic? Sorry.
Your academic credentials.
Yes.
Yes. Now, you studied at the University of Natal, am I right?
Pardon?
You studied at the University of Natal.
University of Natal?
Yes.
Yes.
That's where you got your anthropology.
Yeah, those were anthropology degrees.
So you had your master's on social science, am I right?
Yes, research masters.
And then the Rhodes University conferred you with LLD honoris causa, am I right?
Yeah, that was Rhodes afterwards.
Now, because you are given a frequent public commentary on specialized policing, intelligence, and criminal justice matters, it's very important for us here in Parliament that we must distinguish between your end academic qualifications and the honorary recognition you received then. Now, as from now, as you know, Rhodes University can call you, inverted commas, a doctor. But in Parliament, it must be very clear that you must be referred as Mr. Haas here. Am I right?
You can do either. Some people do use that honorary term.
No, Doc.
But yeah.
I said we were calling you Doc before, but I want the public and Parliament to capture that in Parliament here, we are not a doctor, we are Miss Haas.
Whatever. I don't care what you call me.
No, it can't be whatever. I can't be called a professor as well.
No.
I just want us to capture that.
Let's not argue about titles, Jali. Just go straight to the point.
No. My point is that I'm making a follow-up question on that. Nothing else. Hence, I can't call the chairperson a professor. I know he's got an academic qualifications in law, but I can't call you a professor. So I want us to capture this, because remember, we were told initially that Mr. Haas is Professor Haas. Well, he cleared it us to today here. To say she's a doctor.
But what I'm trying to say to you, so that we don't waste time, and I'm going to patiently give you time to drive your point. But
my point is simple.
I want to say to you, get to our terms of reference, because we are not about the title that she uses.
No, Che, I'm saying for the record.
Yeah.
For the record, because you can't say to me, next time we are calling somebody a minister who's not a minister, and say, no, we should not worry about that.
So what you are saying is that the university that conferred her the honorary doctorate
and call her a doctor, yes, is fine.
Can address her as doctor.
Yes, it Rhodes, yes.
But as
in Parliament,
outside the premises of the university, we are not bound to address an honorary, a recipient of honorary doctorate as doctor.
Especially here in Parliament. Outside, I don't mind, but I'm saying when we capture facts here, it must be reflected that Mr. Haas was here, not Dr. Haas was here, please.
So you are trying to say that the university just decorated her?
No, Che, you don't understand me. Rhodes, they can call her a doctor. There's no problem with that. But in Parliament here, when we are capturing our records, it must be clearly that we had Mr. Haas appearing before us.
It's fine.
Thank you, Chair.
Let's give her a chance. So, Dr. Haas, I'm not even saying doctor in quotes, because you were sitting there, you said you are Dr. Haas. What is your understanding of that statement, that Honorable Scosa? If a university confers an honorary doctorate to you, when you get outside the university, is it appropriate for you to be addressed as Dr. Haas?
Well, some people are and some aren't. It seems to vary as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
As from what I've seen, I don't usually use it, and I'm so sick of saying to people I'm not a professor. I mean, I probably have to go and get all my publications and get a doctorate for them, because I've got enough publications there that I can take them and say, can I just convert it to another doctorate?
Yeah, no, it's
But I mean, it's just such a trivial thing. It's meaningless. I don't know. It's just a digression from more important things.
yeah.
No, Chair, please, Chair, protect me. I said because she doesn't possess a doctorate.
That point, Jali, is driven. I just want to check.
She never had a research on doctorate.
Yes,
Please,
I want to
please,
check
please.
what is the practice in the profession. If there is any South African who knows who can help us.
Well, may I just explain what happened to my doctorate? I started it in the 1980s. I was diverted because I got an offer from the Human Sciences Research to get money to research. So I put it aside. I then wrote I wrote chapters on the theory of the time. And you have to, then I got caught up in all this violent stuff.
No, it's fine.
And it went on and on. I did 4 different theoretical.
Let's stop it here. It's something
Thank you, Chair.
we'll come to at the end of the proceedings.
Thank you, Chair.
Maybe we can be assisted on that one. It must not.
There's nothing silly,
It must
Chair.
not
Please.
derail our meeting. Look, you have not completed your doctoral degree.
You know, for good reasons, I may tell you, very good reasons.
That is acceptable. It's fairly reasonable.
Nothing. Sure, I would honestly.